and see the analytics behind it. So that's really cool. And yeah, everything that I thought of adding is already on. I'll pass it to Lauren.
Hey guys, sorry for jumping in a little late. Thanks, Forrest, for taking notes. I'm like, wow, I'm all caught up. Great. Yeah, I'm feeling okay. And I am agenda topics. I'm looking forward to talking about the Trace launch. And yeah, just syncing up with you guys. I've been a little bit distracted today, just by my feelings of things. Yeah, but excited for the call. Pass it back to Forrest.
Thank you. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, everyone, for checking in. Okay, so let's talk about the Giveth Trace launch. We officially launched yesterday. Ironically, in like the last minute of our of our launch jam call, what we have done, and I've you can see on the agenda, we've got the Medium post published. There's a link there. Lauren posted created and posted the Twitter thread. I looked on the Giveth Twitter, and it looks like the tweet that is still pinned to the top. So when you're on the Giveth Twitter, the first thing you see, I think, is about the Giveth.io launch. So I wonder if maybe, at least for maybe like the next couple of days or week, we might want to pin the Trace launch Twitter thread to the top, so that's the most relevant news. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, the reason I didn't change the pinned tweet is because it has the snappy video, and the snappy video is really catchy, but I think you're right, it is kind of like old news, and I just changed it now. So now it's Trace.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I think, like, after a couple of days, we can always pin the snappy video back to the top, and hopefully we'll have a new snappy video in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next bullet, I've got the GitHub issue 297 hyperlinked here, which outlines all the different subtasks that we set to do around content distribution for the Trace launch. Looks like most things have been checked on here. The one thing I don't see checked, so I'll just check in with you, Lauren, edit content on old Medium posts. So I'm assuming, have you already done that and made sure like Trace was mentioned on the old Medium posts?
I didn't go through them, but actually I did check, well, basically beta.giveth.io, then reroutes to trace.giveth.io. So I didn't actually change them at all. But we could probably check it off. Like, I think it's okay. The way
if it's rerouting, that's okay. Cool. And then project verification process documentation from Ashley. How is that going?
I created a HackMD document, but I haven't really like fleshed it out very much. It's pretty bare bones. It's got like 3 steps on it, but I need to like explain more about the process and why we do it, and like write a little more thoughtful things rather than just that. So.
Okay, cool. I mean, we have it here under the Trace launch, but I don't think it's like a blocker or like so intertwined.
Yeah, I don't think so either, because basically it's pretty it's kind of like there's a little blurb about it in the Medium post, and it links to the type form. So I think until we're a little more developed in that area of how that works with onboarding to Trace, I think that works just fine by using that format.
Yeah, I agree. And then there's a bullet for share with our donors on Gitcoin, and Danny Bell and Willie are tagged. I'm assuming that probably that hasn't happened yet, but we can check in with them. And then it says Common Stack newsletter. It sounds like Lauren and Mitch, you guys are most in contact with Common Stack. Have we gotten like a little blurb drafted to be shared in their newsletter that we've launched Trace?
No, we didn't, but I put that on there just because I was thinking like, hey, that would be cool, because it's like Giveth is relevant to the Common Stack ecosystem, but I can reach out to Jessica and see what she thinks, and or like Tam or somebody who's involved in the comment stack and see what they think, and maybe we can.
I would talk to Sugar or Tam.
Is okay, sure.
She's the one doing the weekly newsletters, I'm pretty sure.
No, Suga's doing them for the TC. I'm talking about like the comment stack email
the
blast.
comment stack. Too many comments.
Yeah, but
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Thanks.
Awesome. And then in blasting in the partner channels, it looks like all of us did all of the ones we signed up for, and maybe Ashley, it looks like you added a couple more and checked them off, so that's awesome. And the only one I don't see checked is Bright ID.
Oh yeah, that's because I asked Bright ID. They have like a no spamming, no advertising thing in their rules section. So I like asked if there's an appropriate channel for it, and then they were like, "We don't have anything at the moment, but maybe we could create one." So I just didn't share it there.
Cool. Well, that was conscious of you. I'm glad you reached out to make sure we were
I
following
don't want to
the
get
rules.
banned.
Yeah, totally. Okay, cool. Well then, complete. It looks like I'm gonna change this to done. Awesome. Nice job, team. And then I've just hyperlinked our notes from our launch meeting where we have pasted all the UTM tracking, the link tracking in just for reference here. So with that, I think I'll pass it to you, Mitch, to kind of talk about like how has the success of this campaign gone? I mean, at least from the Medium post side, last I clapped, we had like 288 claps. But maybe Mitch, would you like to walk us through, maybe even I can stop sharing my screen if you want to share some of the amplitude stuff and like the link tracking and what we've discovered. You're on.
Yeah, I'm just playing with it right now.
Okay.
It only got set up yesterday at launch, so it's going to be hard to be able to analyze it because we don't have any data from before.
Yeah.
But what I can show you guys here is that if we have a chart here, we go any event and we look it up by this campaign, right? So this is what we put into all of our links was trace launch. And then we can see that there was 26 visits or actions that used these links that we made for the campaign for trace launch. So we can see that stuff there. And then today, the day is just beginning. It's back down to 1. So, I mean, there's not a lot because here everything's 0, but like just to give you guys an idea of like why we did it. And then we're able to see all of the clicks that led eventually to Giveth Trace.
Yeah, can we easily see like how many of those 26 clicks were from like Twitter versus Medium?
Yeah, so here we just change this. We go to UTM source, and then we can see there's only 2 here, so one from Discord. Looks like there was 26. And autopilot 0.
Nobody opened my email blast.
Because then this is 12 now.
It might be that 12 looked at it but didn't click, I wonder.
No, because they would have clicked to have triggered it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm probably just have something wrong in the settings here because it says 12 from today.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways that you can dice up this information, but basically that's where we can find it all.
Wait, so for Medium, we got 93 clicks.
For what?
From the Medium, it's 93 clicks.
Depending on what it was. So if it was a message or an email.
26.
So in total there was 93. Oh, 106.
Wow.
And if we try to go to campaign, same amount, yeah.
That seems cool. That's good.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, our that's cool. Our tweet got like a reasonable amount of activity. We got 18 retweets, well, 13 retweets and 5 quote tweets and 33 likes, which is kind of a lot.
Yeah,
That's pretty
good.
cool. I wonder why it doesn't show up here.
I think a lot of the people probably clicked to it went to the Medium post from the Twitter and then navigated from the Medium.
Oh, I did actually put, yeah, totally, probably. I also put the Twitter one as like I made a, I don't know, 6-part tweet thread. And so the last one was the link to the Twitter analytics link. Did you check that one? Oh wait, you did check it and it had less.
Well, it should show up here, right? Because here we've got the source that we set.
I'll click it
and
right
so
now.
the only two that show up is Discord and Autopilot.
Oh. Maybe refresh? I just clicked on it.
It might take a couple minutes because it's got to go through a couple different pipes
okay.
to get here.
And we can get like real nitty gritty with it. We don't necessarily need to, but you can like block IP addresses so that it's not tracking like our comms team clicking things.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Like in the future. I mean, in Google Analytics, you can do that. You can like block IP addresses, so it's normal to block like the IP addresses of everyone that's working for the marketing team, because obviously we're going to be like testing links and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to see what you can do with this thing. But I just opened it up maybe like... Go ahead, Ashley.
Is there a link somewhere where I could look at this?
You should have an invite to Amplitude. If you don't... Okay. I can just do that right now. At Gmail?
Yeah. wildwander@gmail.com.
Is that right?
Sorry, I was looking at my email. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to keep playing with this, you know? It's going to get more interesting the more information that we get. And we'll be able to hopefully get some useful analytics out of this.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I think even Autopilot has some analytic stuff that we can set in there as well. So we could see like how many people clicked the link in the email and how many looked at it but didn't click, and a little more details, I think, within Autopilot itself.
Yeah, they got some cool stuff in there too. Does anyone else want to invite while I'm on this page?
I'd like one. Hey, Forest Soleil.
At Gmail?
Yeah.
You can add me too. I'm Karmatic Acid at Gmail.
The other really cool thing about Autopilot and analytics is we can do like A/B testing. So essentially in the future, if there's a point where we wanted to write 2 different iterations of an email, we can see like which email drew more clicks versus the other one, like how you word stuff. So that's something cool to keep in mind going forward with certain announcement kind of things too. And I don't know if Trace was necessarily the thing for that, but maybe with the gig economy stuff, we can try some different like A/B testing things.
That's what it was, because Willie had that for making donations, and he had an A/B split, so there's 2 different emails that we were using.
It was for. Yes, because then you can go in and you can track like which one got more likes and reads and which one had more clicks and like how they responded to each one, and it can help you find the voice to the right voice to.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Anyway, if you get in here and you want to play around with stuff, you just start a new chart and then make sure that you're on trace production. Or if you want to do it for Giveth, you could do Giveth production for Giveth.io. And then you can just start, picking events, what part of the event you want to look at. So, the amount, anything in there.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, just play with it. That's what I'm doing. It's a learning curve. Anything else that you wanted to know about this forest?
Oh, this is cool. Thank you for setting it up. And yeah, for sure, over time we'll be able to see more and more, and also we'll be able to compare like different the success of different campaigns also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you, Mitch. So I guess with that, I mean, how do we feel that this campaign launch for Trace has gone so far? And do we want to like cross promote or shill or, push the launch forward in any other ways? What do you guys think?
I think that, I pinged Willie and Danny to like connect with their Gitcoin donors. I think that's like a good kind of like next step. I think we should kind of continue like throughout the week too, or throughout the weeks is to like share a little bit more on Twitter and use some of the memes. Like we made a ton of memes for Trace, like especially about like the free gas and stuff like that. And I loved that Mitch added the link to our Discord and like his Discord shill. So we actually got a lot of people jumping into the server, which I think is really cool. So we could even just like, I don't know, like check into the servers that we had like posted in and see if kind of like people replied or, look for like a little bit more engagement.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ashley was doing like an awesome job of helping people in the Discord server and explaining to them, like answering their questions on Trace. And actually, what's really cool though is, yeah, people were asking questions of like, what's a community and a campaign? And now that I'm just like talking out loud with like my brain rolling, maybe it would be like useful to kind of, we could even have like a AMA or like I don't know if we want to like host something where we like explain to people how to use Trace or like answer any of their questions. Like in the Common Stack and the TC, they were doing like milestone parties where like someone was explaining to people how to like create a milestone back from a milestone. So maybe we have kind of like this is what's changed or this is how to use Trace. Like we could have like a talk tutorial time. Just ideas.
I think that's a great idea. I think that's really cool, and like especially if we give it like a week or so lead up to where we can promote it on social and in Discord channels and like build some engagement around this AMA that we have in like a week or 10 days from now or something.
Yeah.
We could have like, at least like one person from comms, one person from the Trace dev team, and maybe like, Willie or Griff or something.
Yeah, that sounds great. Probably Griff more than Willie. I don't think Willie's that familiar with Trace. Like Ashley knows a ton. I don't know how Ashley does.
I'm down to support, but it would be nice if there was definitely somebody with, like, I know technical things and I can help with like onboarding and stuff with Trace and like some of those things. I feel like having a dev there would definitely be helpful, and like if Griff has time to do it, it'd be cool because he has kind of a big oversight and understanding of where it all came from and like the story of it and kind of where it's going. So I think.
Yeah, so maybe we could have like Griff and Amin and Ashley or something.
Yeah, I love that. Awesome. Great idea, Lauren. What what medium would we want to facilitate an AMA on? Would we do like in one of our community call voice channel and like have the videos on and be like sharing screen, or would we use a different platform?
I don't know. Yeah, we could maybe just host it in like our Discord or something.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. It would bring also more people from other servers into our server.
Yeah. Like, it's a really cool thing that Metagame does with their community calls, and they have kind of like really casual, informal, and they invite people in. It's like a cool conversation. We could kind of have this concept, but like the specific topic is about Trace, and we could share in other Discord servers and be like, hey, we're like hosting this thing, like pop into Giveth, like with any of your questions, and like announce it like, you know, a few days in advance and remind people and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe we could even like get it on the calendars of very close partner DAOs, like for DAppNode or for the TC or for like Common Stack and even like Metagame and OneHive and like kind of people who are like more familiar with Giveth as well.
Yeah. Also like that are like active partners with us.
Exactly, yeah.
I think that also when we reach out for this, we should also reach out for them to subscribe to our announcements channel. So that was one thing that came out of this, is that we created an announcements channel that other servers could subscribe to, so that when we announce things like the launch of Trace, they'll get a notification in these other servers.
Yeah, totally.
So when you're on having this like onboard party or how to use Trace, what are you going to show them? Because most of them can't make a community or a campaign.
We could show them, like, because we were more focused on like trying to attract people to Trace because it's like great for donations. So we could show them like how to donate and how you can like how communities delegate and then how it gets vetoed, and just like explain them the concepts of like what's a community, what's a Trace, and what's a campaign, and like why would you donate to any of these three things, and like how do projects use these things. So it's kind of like more for the perspective of like talking to people as donors than talking to people as projects.
I agree with that. Hi guys.
Yeah.
And also, how do people get permission to create a campaign and or a community?
Well, right now there's no way.
I mean, I know how, but educate them.
Because right now you're not really doing any like big push to get new campaigns on there, right?
Not
Are you
like
still
a big
holding
push,
off on that?
not a big push until we have it a little bit more integrated, where they're actually like reflected a bit. And I know Mateo is working on that right now, so I'm not sure what the timeline is on the integration. But I think until they're working together a little bit better, we shouldn't really like highlight too much in that area. But we can still say, if you want to get your Giveth.io project verified and become a campaign on Trace, then you can fill out this type form and apply. You know, so I'm not saying like we should not share that information. I'm just saying that it probably shouldn't have a spotlight on it. I really like the idea of like talking, like you're talking to donors and just like really explaining the structure in a way that's focused on donors.
Well, that's an interesting thing, because there may be donors who want the projects they give to be on Trace. So we at least need to say something in there that says, if you're wondering how to get a project or a community created on Trace, the preferred method is to do it on Giveth.io and get it verified first, and then be able to create it. But are we actually limiting it to that entirely, or could people with questions about other projects or campaigns contact us directly for that detail?
As it's it's kind of set up right now, the only way to have a campaign on Trace is to have a verified project on Giveth.io. And soon, I'm working right now on working to reflect the current campaigns that are on Trace to IO. So I'm like going through, seeing which ones are active, reaching out to the people, collecting wallet addresses, and then. But I think until we have a bit more of a reflection on both platforms, that just the main reason I think that this came up is because there were people in the Discord channel like asking questions around like, well, what is a community? And how do they nest within each other, and how do the funds flow between them? Like, really just kind of focusing on how it works. And I think by opening it up for questions and stuff, we'll get to see a lot more of the things that people are confused about and where we need to provide more clarity and things like that.
Awesome. So what I've tracked so far is talk to people from the perspective of them being donors and show them how to donate, how communities delegate, vetoing, also just generally explaining like what's a community, what's a campaign. Let's put this in the front. And yeah, opening it up for questions. And I like what you said, Ashley, seeing where their questions lead us will inform us to what better like documentation we can do, and yeah, like just what things the community is needing more support on.
I'm
Anything
also
else?
If before we do this AMA, if we shouldn't have some updated documentation to direct them to, because that was one thing when I was trying to answer people's questions in the Discord. I didn't really have a document I could direct them to because a lot of the documentation still says things like milestones and stuff. I think, Mitch, you created a lot of that documentation, right?
You're talking about with the entities and roles?
Yeah.
It's just the photos have the old stuff on them, but the actual stuff itself should be updated. The actual text.
I was noticing that. I think I noticed just a couple things, but the photos maybe just to reflect like the correct terminology, so that we're not confusing people even more by directing them to these documents. But it would be nice to have some links and to provide people, whether it be like a few Medium articles that kind of explain things throughout the history, or like.
What's wrong with the documentation? I don't understand what they don't understand.
Well, within the documentation is a bit outdated since things have kind of changed.
I think the main
it's not that outdated. Sorry, Lauren.
Yeah, I think one of the main things in the documentation that I noticed was outdated is really just the images. Like, they're awesome, like, flowchart images, but they use, like, the old terms. And, they have, like, DAC to campaign to milestone rather than community to campaign to trace. But I think Mitch had changed, like, the wording in the descriptions, like, the paragraph descriptions.
Like, because that was what Monique wrote from pretty recently, and so I don't think the flows actually changed. It's just the images are confusing.
Okay. I just think maybe we should take a look at it and make sure it's current before we do this AMA, so that we have resources to share with people.
Sure.
Okay. And just put like a number 1. Awesome. So maybe like this week we can review the trace documentation and make sure the images and text and things are updated, and then assuming all of that is good to go, would you guys like to schedule an AMA for sometime next week? Or do you want to push it to the week after? Like, how much time shall we prepare? I mean, I don't know what your schedule is in Paris, everyone who's over there.
I think that
Griff.
if it's going to be, I think next week would be complicated if you want to have Griff be involved, because it's like when most of the ECC events are. But if we push it to the week after, it probably would be better. And this also gives us time to like update whatever in the documentation, images and things.
Yeah, and to get maybe more people in the Discord before then, and then they'll know, more people will know about it. It will give us time to like reach out to these other partner servers and spread the word.
Awesome. Okay. Perfect. And then Danny, since you're with us, one thing we talked about, there is a GitHub issue. Let's see, if you're looking at the stream, under Trace Launch, there's this GitHub issue number 297 for content distribution that has all those subtasks of things like places where we're promoting the Trace launch, and in there you will see a subtask for you and Willie to connect with the Gitcoin donors and let them know about the Trace launch. So just want to mention that since you're with us.
Yeah, I actually saw it pop up in Discord, and that's what made me realize you guys had a call and come jump in.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I wonder if moving forward, should we also make updates in both of our grants on Gitcoin? Letting them know that Trace is now live, or, because we can add updates and like put our status where we're at and keep people up to date. Maybe that would be a good thing to add to the grant. I think, Danny, you're the owner of the Giveth Trace grant, right?
You're on mute, Danny. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm hearing that. I did update it at the beginning of the round with the new links and whatnot. I would definitely like to send out an email and update it a little bit more. I can do that today.
Cool, thanks.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, anything else around the Trace launch before we move on to circles? So for our circles discussion, the 3 circles proposal has passed. In here, there's links to the Aragon vote where it passed, as well as the forum, which I am gonna pull up. So what we do have currently for each of the 3 circles based on the past proposal and what Danny outlined within them is the structure of each of the 3 circles and the working groups that are within each of the 3 circles. So next steps, I believe have we yet, Ashley, on the forum created like tags or whatever that we had discussed to organize proposals, so when there's like outdated or something that has not passed, it gets like archived or closed or something, and then the past ones are moved to past. I think like one initial next step is for us to do that, since we have a couple of old outdated forum proposals up there now based on our other circle structures that were proposed.
Yeah, I'll look into it. I know you can add tags when you create the topic, but I'm not sure if you can add tags after it's already created. I maybe the person who made it, but there might be a way that like admin wise I can do something to label them as.
I have definitely modified the ones that I put in, added tags, added topics, and changed them after I did those first pan ones.
Is there a way for like a person who didn't create the post though, to be able to archive those things.
I'm sure admin, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take a look.
And I guess worst case, we could encourage like whoever's the owner of each thing could update the title, and the first part of the title in all caps could say like rejected or closed or archive or something like that.
Or pass or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll look into that and see what would be a efficient way to do that.
Okay, cool. And then the next step is for us to draft the mission statements, goals, and KPIs for each of the 3 circles that we have determined. So, yeah, let me see. Can I share my... I will... Oh, yeah, I'm good. Okay, share my screen, and I will just do... If I do my window... then I think you see the whole thing, right? You guys are seeing the power of 3 circles now on the stream?
Loading.
Yeah, for me it is.
Okay.
It's trying. I don't see your stream yet.
Okay, let me stop streaming and do it this way. Okay, do you guys see that? Yeah. Cool. Okay, so this is the 3 circles that have passed. So we've got the Giveth community circle. Within it is community communication and the commons. And then we've got the Giveth platform, design, develop, and deliver. And then the governance circle, give, get, govern. So you've got like the DAO, the Give Garden, governance. Is all the Give token stuff under the governance circle? Or is it under the Giveth platform?
It's kind of both, because there's development that goes behind the economy part of it, but then like the Give token holders would be making proposals and votes within the governance circle. So
Okay.
I think it lives in governance, but it's supported and developed in the platform.
Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. So my first question, because this is just something I'm not 100% clear on, is, you know, last time we just did mission statements and goals, but ultimately we also have to do KPIs. So my recommendation is that when we divide and conquer this stuff, we also look at what are the KPIs, so that when we create a proposal in the forum, it's just got all the info that we need. We can get feedback from the team, put it to vote, and then put all of this to rest. So knowing that we need to do mission statements, goals, and KPIs for the community circle, the platform, and governance, and just so that we're all aligned and clear, like what are examples of how we could propose circle KPIs?
We did this brainstorm. We did this brainstorm a while back with Magenta. I feel like we did a lot of work to come up with KPIs around communications.
When we were doing that for communications, it was really just like, you know, tracking like how many new followers are on our social media channels and how many likes we get on different posts and stuff. It was things like that, mostly like social media tracking. I mean, now that we have the link tracking, you know, analytical kind of stuff with that we set up, that Mitch set up in Amplitude. I mean, that's another thing.
I hear what you're saying, Forrest, that those are the ones we focused on. But we brainstormed a lot of other stuff besides that, like how many projects and donors and volume increases or number of hits to the platform, analytics type things. I mean, I feel like we brainstormed a very long list that was more than just the social media.
Okay, I don't remember that, but we can dig around and try to find it. In the Google Drive.
I also want to just point out that the 3 words that I put under each of those 3 circles were not intended to be working groups. It was more of, well, A, I was feeling creative. B, just like looking at what are the important things that fall under there. I wouldn't say that community communication and commons are working groups, but they could be. They're areas of responsibility. There's definitely the area of responsibility for managing the community and the people. There's the communications, and then commons to me is like our Discord channels and Medium and YouTube. Like the commons is all of our open source information that's accessible. But I put working groups down below that I was thinking there's community, communications, and conflict resolution are actually the 3 working groups that I thought were important for that circle, for example. They kind of do work, like design, develop, and deliver is the 3 phases of platform development life cycle.
So I just dug around our Google Drive, and this is what I found as far as KPI metrics for communications. We talked about these metrics for tracking Gitcoin grant success. After a Gitcoin grant round, the number of new projects added, new givers during a Gitcoin grant, and the average donation amount. I guess we didn't have specific back-end tracking set up to really know 100% that this is where people were coming from, but just within that time period. But I think probably that's something we could set up, Mitch, in the future, right? Let's see, maybe in our Gitcoin grant, when we're putting links within there, we can put a trackable link maybe?
If it goes to Trace, then yes. And I actually made one.
Okay, cool. And then these were other analytics URLs we wanted to track. Number of people visiting our website from content articles. And from there, how many are donating. So if we're promoting a content article on Medium, let's see, how would we do that? So this would be any links in the article to our website would be trackable links. And then, so I'm not sure exactly how this works in Amplitude, but in Google Analytics, for example, you can track more than just, if you use a trackable link from a Medium article, let's say, to our website, once we've captured that person on our website, we can have data, we can see the data of how they're interacting with the different pages on the website. So you can basically see if, oh wow, people that come to our website from Gitcoin grants campaigns are really curious people, and they spend 20 minutes on our website and they're clicking on all these different pages, and 15% of them wind up actually donating or something. You could see that kind of data, nitty gritty. Once you have, obviously, once you have more time that they've been live. Number of people coming in from different social channels. So we've got that now in a way, at least when we're using links, and then we can make decisions on when, and then here's all the social media stuff that we talked about. And it doesn't look like we did build out KPIs for things around Discord, or the DAO. So it was mostly social media, and then talking about how to track, analytics of the website and of Gitcoin grants. So I think the more that you are researching the functionality of Amplitude and like what's possible, we can kind of continue this KPI discussion and see like what things are possible for us to track. Because I definitely don't want it to be a case where, because we've decided these KPIs, now someone's having to like manually pull data all the time. You know, it's much easier if we can just let the back-end analytics do it for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as I look at this, like, this is definitely community and communications focused.
For sure.
Product dev is going to have issue, GitHub KPIs, how many issues, how long it takes to resolve them, how many points of contact, all of that kind of stuff. Governance is going to have how many people actually collected their tokens, what they did with them, voting, success measurements, things like that.
So things like Aragon and OneHive and like the tools that we use for people to interact on the DAO, are those serving as, like, is there any, are admins able to access back-end analytics for those platforms to see like, oh, you have this many people participating in the DAO and this is how many people are voting, or do you have to go?
It's not intuitive. I was trying to find who hadn't voted yet on something, and Griff said he would have to show me how to do that, that it's not readily accessible. It is accessible, it's just not intuitive right from the dashboard. And the other, just while I'm looking at the list that you have there, do we have Discord on that list? A number of new users, people joining?
We had Discord on the list, but we didn't talk about, like, it just says Discord server. We never discussed KPIs specifically for Discord.
Because like launching the Trace article yesterday and tons of new, what do we have? 12 people join yesterday, last night, this morning?
Yeah, there's quite a few. It was pretty cool.
Well, and now...
Yeah, and great responses, Lauren.
I was just going to say, now that Mitch has set up link tracking, like he created one specifically for Discord. So in the Medium article, whenever we're sending people to join our Discord or whatever, we're using that trackable Discord link so we can see an amplitude. How many of those people that just joined our Discord actually came from our Trace launch article, for example. I guess coming specifically from that, right, Mitch? It's not like we have multiple trackable links for Discord, and some are from the Medium article and some are from when we're promoting Discord on Twitter. It's just like one generic Discord link.
Well, you have one for Discord, so it's like when you're shelling in Discord, you would use that link so that we know people got to Trace from Discord. And then same for Medium, and then same for Twitter, same for Reddit, same for Gitcoin. So we know where they came from.
Yeah, that was just tracking the people interacting with Trace. I think what Forrest was talking about is how can we tell how people joined our Discord, like how they found out about our Discord.
Oh, well, I mean, they would click the Discord link, so that's not trackable.
There are like you can see like how many times a certain link gets used, but not from like where it was posted at, We don't know like whether they came from Twitter or whatever, but I can see like which links to get used how many times.
To go to Trace or to go to Discord?
To Discord.
You have that from the server settings.
Yeah. So you can go
cool.
in and you can see which invites have been made and how many times they've been used and how much time is left on the ones that aren't infinite.
Yeah, so we could actually use a different Discord invite for various campaigns or locations?
I think it creates the same link depending on the parameters that you set. So it depends on the channel. So whatever channel you're in or you're inviting them to, it would track that, and then like how long the link is valid for and how many uses it has. And if you set a link that has the same parameters, you're going to get the same URL, unless we use the UTM kind of thing.
Okay.
Like the UTM to send people to it wouldn't be as attractive because people are less like, you know, it doesn't pop up with a little like invite to this server. It would look kind of sketchy.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, maybe over time, like, we want to get more nitty-gritty with it, but for now, I think this is a really great start. And yeah, this is helpful context for me as far as the KPIs. So I've just dropped, like, under community, the Google Doc link to where we had tracked our KPIs or brainstormed them in the past, just to give some ideas, and then gave a couple ideas in here from what we did around devs and gov. So yeah, next step is to draft the mission statements, goals, and KPIs for each of the 3 circles. How would we like to divide and conquer these 3 circles? I mean, I don't mind taking it for community since I had done it for comms, and I can go through this stuff here. Ashley, if you're interested in contributing or tag teaming it, like, we could work on it together.
Yeah, I think it would be good to have 2 people on each, especially like with the dev one. We need a dev on there, but we also need like a comms voice on there as well. You know, so I think me and you can work on community.
Yeah.
And then we'll have like, see if one of the devs would be willing, and maybe, I don't know, Mitch wants to do development stuff, or Lauren, I don't know.
I mean, I can do it, but I definitely think that this is going to be turned into a bigger issue than us just writing it. You know, there's going to be lots of input and lots of advice process, and so it's like, the problem is that communications just took it and wrote it, and then the community was like, whoa, hold on a second, like, so there needs to be a bigger input process.
So we need to post what we have. Oh, sorry.
Just for drafting the proposals for those things. So like, Forrest and I will just get together and draft a proposal to put up on the forum to then go through the advice process. So instead of one person just making the proposal, we have 2 people on each one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think for Gov, I can ask Willie if he wants to do that with me. But I'm trying to think. I mean, Griff's the person who knows Aragon the best, so I'd probably want to at least get his input and looking at that with me.
Okay. So you and Willie or Griff on that one. For the dev one, Mitch, would you like to take that and see if one of the devs would like to contribute to it as well, or would you and Lauren like to work on that? What do you think is best for just initially drafting the proposal and posting it to the forum?
Yeah, I mean, I can take it, and then I'll probably talk to Monique, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, once we've got those organized, we can post them to the forum for advice process, and they need to be up for at least 5 days to get feedback from the team before we post it for voting in Aragon. Cool. So that brings us to the top of the hour. I just want to ask one quick question that we haven't gotten to yet. You know, we joined the community calls voice channel in Discord today, and that's kind of what we've been using since we moved over from Jitsi. Do we like that? Do we feel like now that comms is kind of going under this community circle that there's ever going to be like double booked calls and we should have our own communications voice channel in Discord?
I don't think there should ever be double booked calls for those things, at least for what I could tell. And I was just thinking about this yesterday so I just looked, 23 new people joined our Discord yesterday. So as these new people are coming in, and maybe we were talking about having some of these like AMA type of calls, maybe we can make like an event voice channel as well.
Cool. So keeping communications and community stuff to the community calls voice channel, but then maybe creating another one for events.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. And that makes sense because we could essentially have, we kind of have one already for each of the 3 circles. We have community, dev, and DAO for governance. So maybe clarifying those, like, since the circle thing just passed, I can call one like community, one like platform or development, and one like governance or something, and then we have one that's like for events maybe.
Okay, cool.
Like maybe the meme party channel could be like the event channel or something.
Anybody have any objections or other feedback?
I think that's good. I don't think we need to have a whole bunch of voice channels until the need arises for it.
Awesome. Well, we didn't get to talk about much about documentation or give token economy stuff, but let me just check our calendar. We have a placeholder Friday morning, so if we would like, we can jam on it then. I know maybe Lauren will be traveling, not sure, but yeah, we can just talk in the communications channel and decide if we want to use that placeholder and talk through like give token economy road mapping or anything else that comes up. But we're a few minutes over and I want to respect the time, so I will thank everyone so much for joining and for your participation. I feel like we did get through a lot of great nitty-gritty stuff, so thank you for that. And yeah, most of the next steps are around the Trace launch, continuing to do our promotions and shilling and creating reviewing the documentation and creating this cool AMA, and then working on the circle proposals. Does anyone want to share anything before we drop?
No. Get in contact with Gitcoin folks. I did make the post on LinkedIn yesterday about Trace. I've got some time to do just that thing today, but then I have some spaciousness tomorrow, and Friday I'll be available for the call and anything else.
Okay. Bueno.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, everyone.